In the opening scene, we see Callie in a baking shop staring at a time when her business partner and best friend Mia comes in and tells her that she's going to be late for her family dinner. When she tells her that they've been having family dinner every Sunday, Callie is indifferent about it. Imagine being pressured by your family to bring a boyfriend home, but you don't have anyone. Not only that, but you've been given an ultimatum to bring a boyfriend for your rapidly approaching birthday. How will this be accomplished in such a short amount of time? She denies stalling when Mia accuses her of doing so, asking why she would do so given that they typically cause her blood pressure to rise. Nevertheless, Mia claims she leaves the baking to her, vowing to take care of the rest, and she suggests that she leave before the traffic gets heavy. When Callie gets to her parents' house, she parks her car and takes a 15-second breathing meditation as a way to calm her nerves. After she finishes, some of her family members call out to her through the window, saying they have been waiting for her. Callie also thanks her and informs her about an adjustment to a customer's order via continued cooking as they say their goodbyes. After taking a deep breath, she enters the room and hands them the packet. Her mom tells her that her dad misses her, reminding her that they do this every week. They talk about an album that her dad owns, and they bring up her upcoming birthday. She brushes off as unimportant. However, they say they like her to receive attention from someone special. Her family wishes she had a boyfriend who would treat her with the special attention she deserves and advises her to get one. They advise her to keep an open mind and tell her they invited someone over. Surprises her. As Callie enters the room, they all enter. Dr. Arthur, the family dentist, tries to impress her by talking too much. She tries to laugh at his jokes, even though she doesn't have a connection with him. Her baby brother Kyle quickly saved her. Quickly, it was dinner time, and they all went into the dining room. Kelly's father brings up the memory of her disastrous first attempt at baking, which she claims served as the impetus for her catering company. Callie claims she wanted more food, whereas Arthur claims he wasn't a huge eater. Lyle asks Arthur a question about the different types of toothbrushes, and this allows Arthur to talk more about his business. She meets the family's dentist. When her dad tells her that they are throwing her a birthday party, and she needs to bring a date, she takes that as her cue to head out, saying goodbye and concluding that the dinner was successful. He also has a potential boyfriend for her sister, who also comes in and tells her the same thing. She gets disappointed in all of them at that point. Arthur enters, inquiring as to whether she has gone to get dessert, and informing her that he dislikes sweets. Callie's parents dismiss it as a joke. Kelly tells her brother as she walks down the street that she has been attempting to find a boyfriend, but it's simply not working out. She also enjoys being unmarried. When they get to the bar, Kyle says his buddies are also inside. Her brother claims he does too, but she refutes that since he's had a lot of different boyfriends. He claims he's unique because he looks for love and moves on when he doesn't get what he wants. Callie claims she would go back because she thinks it's just them, but Kyle insists that she say hello to his friends. She complies, and as they enter, he introduces her to his pals in a hilarious way. The only other male present engages up a discussion with Kalia, who sits next to him. Kyle is seated across from two women. He introduces himself as well. Kelly asks which of the women is his girlfriend, to which he responds, none, adding that they are instructors from the schools where he works. He claims to be an amateur novelist as well since he hasn't finished writing his book yet. Will also mentions that he met Kyle while playing baseball in college. Callie then boasts about being a professional player, to which Kyle agrees and he calls him to confirm. Kyle then explains that he was just telling the ladies about how the family is trying to get Kelly married off. Kelly's surprised, Will says. They share the same opinion about not wanting to get married unless they find the right person. Kyle asks her about her birthday plans, and she raises her glass to single life. In their bakery, Callie and Mia prepare for their cooking session for Delaney. Kelly talks about how a shout-out from Delaney, the biggest lifestyle blogger in the country, would be the boost they need for their business. She explains that this would give them much-needed visibility nationwide. Just then, her mom calls and asks her to send over her birthday guest list, mentioning that Arthur was disappointed she left early the night before. Kelly brushes it off, saying she'll do it after baking for an engagement party. Her mom uses this as an opportunity to express her excitement about hosting an engagement party for her someday. Her phone rings again. This time it's her dad, suggesting she meet his new hire, Frankie. She promises to call him back. She also receives a message from her sister, asking who she's bringing to the party, suggesting she ask her husband Ryan if any of his patients are single dads. As she says this, the dish she's bringing out of the oven falls and shatters. Her friend asks if she needs a break, as this is the second dish she's dropped in 2 days. She then goes to meet her brother Kyle, complaining about their parents' persistence and her inability to find the right one. Kyle starts listing all her previous boyfriends, and she insists they weren't the right ones. He asks why she can't go to her birthday party alone, and she explains that she needs to keep their parents at bay. Then an idea strikes her. She needs to bring a fake date, someone who doesn't want to date and who would pretend to be her boyfriend to get her parents off her back. The sage mentions someone like Will. Next, she meets Will at a restaurant, where she has called him over. She explains her situation and asks him to be her fake boyfriend. He is surprised. She assures him that this won't affect him since they both want to remain single. She offers to pay him with dinners and food from her shop, in exchange for his role. She tells him it's only for the duration of the party, and afterward, she'll make up an excuse about why it didn't work out. Will stands up and asks if he can have a fake name, a fake accent, or a fake job, but she says no to all and that she prefers him as he is. He asks why she feels it is necessary to go to such great length, and she says she loves her family so much that if this will make them happy, she's willing to do it. He agrees to the setup. Kelly tells her brother that Will has agreed to be her fake boyfriend, and everything is set. She makes him promise not to tell their parents about the plan. When he asks what's next, she says they will go out a few times to get to know each other better. Her brother is surprised that she has found a way around their parents' expectations. They part ways, and Callie and Will meet at the park. He holds a package, and she tells him not to bring gifts, since this is only a pretend date. He explains that the package isn't for her, but that he needs her opinion since she is a chef. She advises him, and he thanks her. They eat the donuts he brought and discuss his novel and his writer's block. Will tells her his story is based on his life, though he doesn't know how to end it, because he is the main character and can't foresee his own future. They get along well, and he takes her to his favorite spot in the woods. Even though it's a pretend date, he sets up a nice spot for them. Callie tells him it's hard to imagine he's single, and he responds that all he cares about at the moment is being the perfect pretend boyfriend for her. They eat the snacks he brought, and she asks if his mom pressures him about being in a relationship like hers does. He admits she does. They enjoy each other's company, and as the date ends and they walk out, she asks if he would like to come over to her parents' place on Sunday so she can introduce him to them. He agrees, but mentions he has a date and will come after. She is shocked that he has a date but didn't mention it earlier. He assures her he'll come over after his date for dessert, and she says that's fine. They part ways, planning to meet the next day at her parents' house. The next day at Callie's parents' house, everyone is gathered as usual. Callie is in the bathroom, listening to motivational audio to calm her nerves. Meanwhile, back at the dining table, her dad breaks the news that Frankie won't be able to make dinner, because he got injured while training. Her sister then mentions a great guy who would be a perfect match for her, but she says she's not interested, and announces that she's already dating someone. They are shocked, and she explains that she wanted to be certain before telling them. When asked how she met her boyfriend, Kyle says it was through him and that he is an old college friend. She gives them some details about him, and they are all impressed. She tells them she's all set for her birthday party, and they cheer for her. She mentions that she invited him for dessert, which pleases them. He walks in during dessert, and they exchange pleasantry, though it gets awkward at one point. Everything goes well. Later, Kelly walks in to find Mia cooking and gets worried about preparing the right dish that Delaney, the lifestyle blogger, likes. Mia reassures her and asks about her date. Kelly says he was funny, sweet, and blended in perfectly, which makes Mia happy. Callie asks if what she's doing is wrong, but Mia says it's not. She's doing it for a good cause. As Mia checks the spaghetti by throwing it, it hits Kyle as he walks in. Mia blushes and remarks that he is cute. Kyle and Will play baseball while talking. Kyle asks how it went, and Will says Kyle is the best judge since he was there. Will compliments Kyle's family and says Callie was so convincing he almost believed they were dating. Later, Callie and her mom are planting in the garden. Her mom brings up the issue of her boyfriend, advising Callie to trust herself and follow her intuition. One evening, Callie is cooking the meal she had promised Will, not realizing he just walked in. When she swings around and spills the food in shock, thinking he's a burglar, he explains that he came for the promised dishes. She says it was supposed to be at 8, and he apologizes for the timing mistake. With the dish spilled on the floor, she apologizes and says it will take an hour to make another. But he reassures her not to worry, as he just ate before coming. He looks around and asks her to teach him to cook her favorite dish. She decides to teach him how to make soufflé, a recipe her dad taught her. As she explains the process, he stares at her, clearly enticed. She tells him to grab an apron, and they cook together, laughing and having fun while she corrects him. After cooking, Allie and Will talk on the couch. When it's time to say goodbye, Will wants to hug her, but she shakes his hand instead. The next day, Mia walks into the kitchen and notices it's messy. Kyle enters, jokingly covering his face and asking if they are throwing pasta. He asks Mia if she has seen Callie, but she says no. Kyle then tells her he's going on a date, which Mia responds in shock. Another date? He asks what she means by another date, and explains that the women he goes out with often don't go on a second date with him, and he doesn't know why. Mia subtly hints that his approach to dating might be the problem, but he doesn't understand. As he walks away, Mia mutters to herself that she can't believe he is oblivious. Meanwhile, Callie is on the phone with her mom, who invites her to a family function. Callie is about to decline when her mom mentions she already asked Will, and he said he would be delighted to attend. Surprised, Callie agrees. Later, she meets Will and apologizes for the unexpected invite, but he says it's fine. When they arrive at her parents' house, Callie explains their tradition of ringing a bell in the garden. She tries but can't reach it, and asks if her dad could carry her, but her mom says it's now her boyfriend's job. Will immediately offers to lift her on his shoulder, and she rings the bell. Her mom gives her a padlock to lock onto the gate as a couple, while she takes a picture. Afterward, they all take a picture together, and her mom suggests a photo where they kiss. Initially hesitant, Callie eventually agrees, and her mom snaps the picture. Back at the cooking shop, Kelly walks in, and Mia asks how the date with Will and her family went. Kelly tells her they kissed, and it wasn't planned. She felt something during the kiss. Mia asks if Will felt it too. Kelly says she doesn't know. Mia then asks if Kelly is developing feelings for him, and she admits she might be, but is unsure since this is a dangerous game. As Kelly drives to her parents' home to drop off some plates for her birthday party, she tries texting Will to say they need to talk, but deletes the message. She unexpectedly meets her father at home, and he suspects something is wrong. She tells him she's worried about the birthday, and he advises her not to worry and assures her she will be fine. He encourages her to do things her way in life. Later, Kelly walks into Will's school and bends over to read the novel displayed on his laptop. Will enters the room, startling her, and she says she wasn't expecting him to come in. She brings Will the dish she spilled the other night, and he tells her she shouldn't have stressed herself over. Will asks if she read his novel. She denies seeing anything. He then says she inspired him to get back to writing. She mentions that Mia and she are catering an event Delaney is hosting, and was about to ask if he would come with them when he interjects that he knows Delaney. She invites him to the event, saying it's not part of his fake boyfriend duties, and he says he'll check his schedule and get back to her. Awkwardly, she brings up their kiss and apologizes, but he says it's okay and it won't happen again. Isle and Will meet again, and Will says Callie is a great person. Isle tells him he likes her for real. Will admits that hanging out with her is a lot of fun, but once the pretend dating is over, he will have to walk away. Isle suggests he ask her out after it's all over, but Will says it will be difficult, 'cause she made her intentions clear from the beginning. She doesn't want a relationship, and he doesn't want to ruin everything for her. He says he'll have to start dating again to take his mind off her. Later, Will texts Kelly, saying he won't be able to make it to Delaney's event and apologizes. At the event, Callie meets with Delaney and introduces herself. Delaney appreciates the effort in catering for the event, mentioning that she has heard about their business from friends. Delaney asks about her partner Mia, and Callie says she is running an errand. Callie then calls Mia, leaving a voicemail asking where she is and expressing her confusion about her feelings for Will. Just then, Mia walks in and Callie tells her about the voicemail, suggesting she delete it. Mia walks away to their table, and as Callie looks around, she sees Will sitting at a table with another woman. She is shocked, because he had canceled on her. Meanwhile, at Will's table, the woman he is with expresses surprise that he invited her over, and he says he is surprised she accepted. He suggests they order his favorite dish, but she rejects it, and Will feels bad. Mia and Kelly congratulate themselves on a job well done. Delaney compliments their efforts and tells them they will talk later. As Delaney leaves, they get excited and anticipate good things from her. Later that night, Callie plays baseball alone, and a moment later, Will walks in, saying he guesses she isn't the only one who visits the court. When Callie sees Will at the baseball court, she asks what he is doing there. He responds that he didn't expect to meet anyone and apologizes for not coming to her event. She says it's fine, although she thinks he has other commitments. Will asks about the party the next day, and Callie admits it hasn't been easy and that her life is more complicated now, dealing with stress, anxiety, and disappointment. Will says it hasn't been easy pretending with her family either. Callie, confused, reminds him he agreed to play along, and she is supposed to be the main focus of the charade. Will acknowledges this but adds that he has to deal with his emotions too. Callie then confronts him about his date at the restaurant where her event was held. Will, shocked, explains it was just dinner, meant to protect her feelings. She questions the point since they aren't really dating. Will says she doesn't truly know him, and Callie agrees, emphasizing they are just pretending. Will decides to leave and she apologizes, hesitating to say more but instead tells him she'll see him at the party and they'll get it over with. The day of the birthday party arrives, and preparations are in full swing. Ellie plays her motivational audio in the car, but stops halfway through and gets out. Her family hugs her and wishes her a happy birthday. Her dad gives her a present, and as she puts it in her car, she sees Kyle and Mia hugging. At the party, everyone is dancing, and Callie asks her mom if she has seen Will. Her mom says she has and has even scheduled a song for them. When the song comes on, Will joins Callie on the dance floor. Ellie apologizes for the other night, and Will says it's fine, acknowledging they are both at fault. Ellie says she shouldn't have put him in this situation, but Will assures her that no matter how things turn out, he will take full responsibility. He then tells her that if they had met under different circumstances, he would have asked her out. She smiles, and he admits that although they both preferred being single at first, his feelings have changed. As their dance ends, Will suggests taking a walk, but Callie's sister drags her into a group dance. Later, as the party winds down, Callie's father gives a speech, expressing pride in her and his happiness for Kelly and Will, believing them to be a real couple. He asks Callie to give a speech. She thanks everyone, appreciates her family, and thanks Will for always being there. However, she then reveals that Will is not her boyfriend, explaining that they had an arrangement due to family pressure. Even though her family meant well, the crowd is shocked, and she apologizes for lying, raising her parents' special love and expressing regret for putting Will through this. She acknowledges that Will is a great guy who will be perfect for someone if he decides to give love a chance. Callie confesses that pretending to be his girlfriend made her realize she actually wants to be his girlfriend. She walks out as Will appears from behind. Kyle meets Callie in the garden and tells her it was a great speech. She tells him to stop joking. He asks how she feels, and she says she's relieved. She then asks when he is going to tell her about him and Mia. Kyle says Mia is the first woman who truly mattered to him. Callie admits she didn't appreciate that their date almost made her miss the event with Delaney. Kyle is shocked and then insists he isn't just a side project. Confused, Callie asks what he means, and Kyle tells her to come inside and see. As they walk in, she sees a table showcasing a history of her favorite foods. Mia walks in with a birthday cake for Kelly. Kyle steps out, and Mia hugs Callie. Their parents come in to apologize for pressuring her, assuring her that they only want her happiness, and promising not to be overbearing again. Callie's phone rings, and it's Delaney. Delaney tells her they are her #1 pick, and that she has even better offers for them. They hug and celebrate the achievement. Later, Kelly's sister also apologizes for pushing her and informs her that Will just left. Disappointed, Callie sits on the swing with Mia. Will then walks in with a flower he brought from his car as a birthday present, revealing that he never actually left. Mia excuses herself, leaving Callie and Will alone. Will tells her he fell in love with her on their first date and gives her one of 2 identical seahorses as a token. She laughs and tells him she loves him too. They kiss, but are interrupted when it's announced that it's cake time. Mia brings the cake outside, and as Callie and Will stand by the table, everyone sings the birthday song. Will tells her he knows how the story he is writing ends and hugs her. Callie blows out the birthday candle, and they kiss, with everyone looking on in admiration. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for subscribing to our Flick Recap channel. Let us know how you liked the story in the comments. See you in the next video.